I don't think I've ever watched a movie that's so beautiful to look at, but also extremely sleep inducing. 2001: A Space Odyssey is, yes, it's the 1968 classic science fiction movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, also co-written by him and Arthur C. Clarke. And look, there's going to be spoilers in this review. It's a really old movie, and there's things I want to talk about. This is not going to be some amazing deep dive or anything like that. And it's just going to be some, just I guess, some random thoughts on the movie. But so the first 25 minutes or so of this movie, skip it. All this stuff with the apes dancing around and finding out about weapons and all this kind of stuff. I know you can read that into what comes later on in the movie, but to me, it was boring and tedious and did not need to be 20 minutes. It was more than 20 minutes. In fact, when it was over, my wife looked at me and said, "Oh, look, the movie's starting." Yeah. So about 20 something minutes into the movie, feels like the movie actually starts. And we start with all the space stuff. And this movie is like the motion picture, Star Trek the motion picture on steroids. Now, I am a Star Trek fan, so I've probably seen the motion picture a few times. I don't know why. Every time I'm just like, why am I watching this? Because it's just long model shots. And you're just like, all right, long model shots. Cool. Yep. It looks good. Looks awesome. Congratulations. The models are fantastic. Get on with the movie. Have they docked to the thing yet? No. Have they done that? Bloody hell. Move! This movie's 2.5 hours. I reckon you could cut an hour and a half? More? More than half this movie can do. Cut it. Cut most of the start. Keep 5 minutes of that. And just get rid of the entire ending. This movie is both sleep-inducingly boring and incredibly frustrating, and also very creative and visually stunning. I'm not just gonna crap on this movie. There is some shit I like. I like seeing Floyd do his uh, message to his daughter while it spins around and you can see the moon in the background. I like seeing how people get around on these spaceships. I like the angles that you see where there's, a ship coming in and you've got a window here, 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 and here with people at different angles and stuff. I really liked the kind of airport thingy that Floyd goes into before he goes to the moon as well. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's wonderfully creative and visually interesting. Unfortunately, as this movie starts picking up steam for me, with Floyd going into the moon and this whole mystery and stuff, all that happens is they see they go there, monolith, they see the monolith, oh yeah, cool, alright, what's going to happen now? And there's a loud noise, and it's 18 months later, and we're on a ship with two people going towards Jupiter, and it's all stuff with Hal and David, or Dave, and I'm like, yeah, but what happened on the moon? Like, are they gonna? That's the thing I kept telling my wife and saying, are they ever gonna go back to the moon with Floyd there and just kind of? No, no, they're not. They're not going back there, are they? They're never going back there. And then you've got this thing where two guys are going to the Jupiter to investigate because the moon monolith is communicating with something in Jupiter, near Jupiter. So they send a couple of people out there, and for some reason, Hal, the infallible computer, starts going insane. And I'm just like, why? And you could probably read into that. Oh, well, Hal is the blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing about art that you can kind of pick apart and talk about. It has to be interesting. Now, I know a lot of people find this movie interesting. And then they want to do a deep dive and discuss its themes, its imagery, and all this kind of shit, and say what it all means. I don't mind doing that too. When the movie's good. Because if the movie's bad, I don't care what this meant. I don't care what that meant. I don't care what that meant. You know, in the grand scheme of things with your art piece. Instead, I'm just like, this movie's fucking boring. And yet, the camera work, the attention to detail is so creative. The world building that goes on in the background is so incredible. That's a 10. All that stuff is a 10. But the story or the way the movie progresses, it's not. I hated the start and I hated the end. I hated them. That was shit. And then what you have in the middle is slowness. In fact, my wife was dreading the classical music playing because she knew as soon as that classical music hit, we were in for 5 minutes of friggin' space stuff, just going do 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 do. Hurry up now, please, and dock with that ship. Do 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 do. Jesus Christ, hurry up! Why is this taking so long? You don't need to show us that things moving in space moves really slow. We know. They're called edits. So you don't get to see the boring bits. That's what movies do. Edit that shit. This movie, man. I guess there are people who love this and feel like they could talk forever about what the moon stuff means, what the freaking Jupiter and the infinite crap means. I'm sure you could. Just reminded me of why I hated Interstellar, which obviously took a lot from 2001. I can see why this movie influenced people and stuff. Hell, it influenced Star Trek the motion picture, big time. The only thing that was missing in that movie was the fucking classical music. Instead, you had actually good music by Jerry Goldsmith. You know, all that stuff, which came from the motion picture. But fuck me, that movie's boring with little story as well. But at least you could kind of follow it. This movie, I couldn't follow it. Why? Because I was so fucking bored. It lost my attention repeatedly. Failed to get it back. And I just wanted it to end. When the movie was finished, my wife and I didn't sit there and go, hey, what do you think of the significance of the monoliths were? Hey, what do you think the significance of Hal going crazy and killing all these people were? Hey, what do you think this is? No, we looked at each other and said, fuck me. Thank God that's over. Fun factor is a big deal for me. I don't care if your movie has something to say or it's just popcorn. You need to have something. You need it to be good. I was fucking bored for the majority of this movie, and so for that reason, I'm giving it a 4. That's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. So boring. So boring. Oh, give me a like, dislike, share, and subscribe. Fuck. Just waiting for something to happen. Man, that ending.